Transitioning to college life, the do's and the don'ts, and also how to avoid the don'ts. Choosing someone to interview came relatively quick to me. I chose to interview Julie Ignatzuski, who is also a nursing major like myself. She was my orientation leader and seemed very helpful. When I asked Julie what challenges she faced, she surprised me when she said her biggest challenge came sophomore year. Julie elaborated on how her freshman year wasn't as tough as her sophomore because her AP classes in high school put her ahead. When sophomore year came around, she realized that it wouldn't work anymore. She needed to study in advance instead of the night before. When I asked Julie about a mistake that left her lost, she gave me two good examples. Julie mentioned that her best friend was a senior. When she graduated, she felt lost. However, she did learn she must keep her group of friends broad to avoid that feeling of being alone again. She also made a mistake academically during her first year. Julie said that she missed her first lab class because she did not know the correct time it started. She actually ended up coming 2 hours late. To avoid that mistake from happening again, she made sure to know exactly when and where each of her classes were. She also left early to ensure she was not late. To ensure that she would set herself up for success in the future, Julie started to visit various centers and events that would help her succeed, like the Career Development Center and various job fairs. Julie decided to explore these things early on so she would be prepared when she was a junior and really needed to know what they were all about. Mentoring Julie received was from her Spanish professor. He offered advice to Julie about finishing her minor or other options she may consider. Also, an example of mentoring Julie received was when she asked a professor for advice on conducting a successful interview when she had an upcoming one in the near future. I asked Julie what she would do differently if she could redo her first year in college. Her answer was to take more Spanish classes. When I asked why, she explained that it was hard to fit in all the classes she needs, plus the ones she would want to take, such as sign language, which she would have been able to fit in her first semester. When I asked Julie for a word that described her as a new student, she said carefree. Julie said that she was more interested with the social life of college when she was a new student here. When I asked her for a word that would describe her now, she said prepared, since she was able to understand what college was about overall. When I asked Julie what was the most difficult transition to college, she replied with balancing social time and personal time. Julie likes to attend social events. She found it hard to focus her time on personal time to relax. This led to high stress levels for her. I asked Julie to give advice she wished she would have received. Julie wished she would have been told that apartment life is very different than dorm life. In apartments, you socialize mostly with the people in your own apartment instead of your hall, like in dorms with open door policies. The best advice she received was to be herself and to have fun. When Julie said that she had trouble her sophomore year, I began to worry. So far, my first semester of college isn't anything too challenging that I can't handle. I also had 2 AP classes in high school that began to prepare me for college. To avoid struggling, I will study for each class no matter what. Julie mentioned that she had made a social mistake her first year. Befriending a senior may be rewarding since they will be able to give you helpful tips and advice since they were in your shoes. However, when they graduate, you may be left alone, which is what happened to Julie. I definitely will take Julie's advice of opening up my friend group. Julie told me the story of how she missed over half of her first lab class her first semester. She learned to make sure she set alarm for each class. I can relate to this because I had gotten lost my second day of class. Thankfully, I was fortunate enough to meet someone in the elevator who had a class right next to me. I was sure to map out my classes after that. Julie began to visit career development as a freshman. She attended job fairs as a young college student. This caused me to think of what I should be doing to ensure that I will be successful as well. Julie's experience with her mentors was something I could relate to. I wish to minor in Spanish and I am a nursing major just like Julie. Julie's mentors told her it could be very challenging to complete a minor being a nursing student. This makes me very interested in seeking out a mentor that will be able to help me succeed in my minor. When Julie told me that she wished she'd taken more Spanish classes, it had me taken by surprise. She is finding it difficult to fit what she wants and needs in her schedule. However, that has caused me to wonder if I should do the same. I will use Julie's response as advice with upcoming semester planning. Julie's first word she chose was carefree. I can relate to this. Although schoolwork is very important, it is difficult to always put it first. I would say I am distracted since I'm drawn to the social life of college. Julie also said she described herself as prepared. I would hope that I can easily detach from things that interfere. Julie's difficult transition was balancing social life and personal time. I can relate to this. My biggest transitional issue is the amount of free time and also student responsibility I have. I don't like spending my downtime, but I know that it is necessary for stress levels. Julie wished someone would have told her about the difference between dorm life and apartment life. She also gave advice about being yourself. She told me about her friends helping her feel comfortable. In college, you're friends with people for mainly having the same interests as you. This ensures that they will be your friends forever. After conducting my interview with Julie, I was able to look at her experiences and relate them to some of my own. I was able to learn from the mistakes she shared with me. She also gave me great insight in what to expect in the future as a nursing student. Overall, the interview was a great opportunity to reflect on what to expect here at YCP the next 4 years.